Hello everyone, this is Dark Marketing. I'm your host Big Dom. Let's get started. Now, in this episode, as you can see, I finally got my nice camera software working with the blurred background and my neon lights, and this way I can keep the focus to have a nice topic video like I've seen so many do before, so I hope this works out with sufficient quality. That being said, got a lot of things I just want to talk about in this video. Want to thank everybody that's been subscribing and following and watching the videos, along with those that have signed up for the lists, and for all of you that have joined the Discord group, which has been very enlightening for me to also get some more direct access and see the diversity of people and the type of things that they're trying to do and promote across the board, from backlinking to using GSA website contact. So, that being said, I want to talk about a number of things in the sense that, look, many people, when you're going to start on the road to getting into this world, many of you are going to start with GSA website contact and affiliate marketing, while others of you already have a website and you're working the SEO angle and you need the backlinking aspect of promotion. But ultimately, you're going to find that you might be starting off with a single tool, but you're going to gradually, you are going to grow into multiple tools over time. And that's because you're going to really realize there's a more holistic approach to almost everything that you do. Now, in terms of GSA website contact, and all of these softwares that involve running XEvil, Capture Breaker, and having to purchase proxies and learn the ins and outs and the minutia of tuning your systems and getting through your running problems and learning how to identify those problems, So that's why, when you get into GSA website contact, getting started with affiliate marketing is a really good approach, because it gives you an opportunity to really learn with somebody else's product, but it's also important to recognize there are limitations. And I want to kind of change your paradigm in the fact that, sometimes people think, well, I can just make an ad and put a link in. And much like the scenario that I have outlined with Autoblogging Pro. Now, I want to point out that I'm not doing them as an affiliate marketer. They are a client, but I am running a campaign in the traditional sense or approach that an affiliate marketer might take. And so I just wanted to share that sort of straight line flat approach. And over time, what happens is, you learn to evolve your pitch and look at the response rates and what is working and what doesn't work. Now, it's not my product, it's not my website, so I can't necessarily do or perfect everything on the receiving end as if like I can do with my own website and gradually try to perfect the whole process of the sale. On the other hand, that's how it's going to be with a lot of affiliate things, where you're going to have limitations on what you can really do. If you're just going to promote a link directly to the product, okay? So that's one approach. Now, one of the really good things about affiliate marketing in the format that I have shown in my videos, like with Autoblogging Pro, where I'm using a bit.ly short link to track the results, and mostly everything is just relying on the write-up in the message. Okay? Now, I'm not doing anything extra beyond that. I'm not providing my own landing page and things going beyond that, which we'll talk about in a minute. But rather, it's important to understand that this is where the opportunity is with affiliate marketing in the beginning, because affiliate marketing is much more difficult until you learn to really refine your process as it goes with the software. And so let's just talk about GSA website contact from the software standpoint. there is a lot to getting to understand and learn about the minutia of the software and using proxies, some of the problems, and of course, it's about whatever you're marketing and what's involved with that. So, is your product a one-size-fits-all potential product that you can just really send it out to any website, or do you have a sort of a B2B market product that really you can only sell your product to certain types of websites that represent potentially certain types of businesses? So this is why, when you start out with GSA website contact and you start out with affiliate marketing, it's a good way to start because it allows you for the first weeks and months to just focus on mastering the software. Because during the process, like many of you in the community are learning, things go wrong unexpectedly and you're not sure why. And sometimes it's just a simple quirk, and other times something requires a little more investigation. And and believe me, I know there were times when those things were happening and I didn't have anyone to talk to. All my problems I had to figure out, through trial and error, test different things and scenarios, and of course I'd go out and read all the documentation and anything I could find on the websites and forums and piece the story together and see what's going on. So that's why affiliate marketing is a great way to get started, because what you find out in the beginning is that yes, I've got to really work on my campaign, and like anything, you have to learn to sort of perfect the process. And I talk about funnel websites. I'm sure many of you are familiar with the concept of funnel marketing. And funnel marketing is, if you're not familiar at all, just do a little Google or search on YouTube. There's a billion videos. But the basic concept is you're taking the visitor from an ad, a pop-up, some location, and it's the lead-in. It is what is drawing them in. Maybe it's a link in an email too, right? But now they get to that first step, and then in the funnel, the idea is there's no option to go left or right or click any other buttons, but rather you keep moving forward, and then you get to the next step, and they bring you to the next step, and usually they try in not more than 4 steps. By the 4th step, you're either making a sale, or on the 3rd step, you're at the least giving them, the user is giving you their email. And so by breaking these things into these quick steps that are sort of limited responses and options, it really gives them a chance to sort of perfect and analyze what works. And a lot of people do split A/B testing, where half of the visitors see one thing and the other half see another, and they see which ones the visitors respond more. And my point is, it's a process of trying to perfect the sale. Now, with Autoblogging Pro, I ran several million. I made 3 sales that will amount to about $300 for the year, and I had over 100 people that actually signed up for the free that may ultimately still convert. And while this isn't my product, and I'm doing the basic marketing with GSA website in a affiliate style manner, I'm also gleaning a lot of data from that, because the idea is, you want to get into the head of the user. And so, gradually over the course of my campaigns, I made small adjustments to my write-ups. And of course, the company, Autoblogging Pro, they're adding more features. So I discussed in one of my videos, one of the problems was people weren't getting the API key. And now they've made that no longer necessary to have to get the API key from ChatGPT. Everything happens under one roof. Now, that being said, they're rolling out the 2.0 version. So there's going to be greater features and functionality that give you better control over how to create the articles. So my pausing and waiting and allowing time for them to get things a little better is going to now allow me to do an even better opening message that I'm going to send out. I've had a lot more time to sort of think about it, because you have to think deeply about it. It is, like in this particular case, it's a one-size-fits-all product in the sense that anybody can use this. And the truth is, every website should be doing blogging now with ChatGPT and the way Google and other search engine algorithms are really favoring that factor. But that being said, not everybody is going to jump on board with blogging or, see things that way just because it's popular, and everybody, how they do their SEO is different. Maybe some have an agency, and some companies do good with their websites, or they don't see the need for blogging, whatever it may be. As much as it's one size fits all, it's not. Everybody says, I gotta have this. And so, you think about those things and how much that may affect the margin. But, in my mind, one of the things to gauge is, what is my click-through rate? Because I'm tracking with a bit.ly short link. So that is a big factor. Like, how much was I able to draw interest and get them to the website? And then, like today, I was thinking, well, there may be other factors, because ultimately that link is just taking them to the home page. But what would really be better is if they were actually landing on a page that had a more robust presentation of some panels that lead in. Like, you go to a lot of these websites and you hit the page, it's got like some text on the top and an image, and boom, you roll down and it scrolls right up and you got a couple things and it keeps going. And wouldn't you like to learn to do this if you could? And the next thing, and they just keep leading you in until you click that button and go to the next page and give them your name and email. Or you think about, right now you can get that special offer at just $69.99 a month, whereas normally $119, and they play out that whole pitch with you. Understand? And understanding how people do that is what ultimately you will have to learn to understand as well. So when you first get started with affiliate marketing, you realize, yes, the approach that I'm doing is one way that's good and practical. And always remember, you want to be trying to do things that you get recurring revenue for life. Because regardless of what the outcome is of your campaigns, at the time you may say to yourself, gee, this didn't really seem that good. And then what winds up happening later is more things pan out of it, or you start to realize, gee, I wasn't really thinking about the recurring revenue income stream aspect of it. And let me tell you something, recurring revenue for life on any kind of solid product that's got a good possibility that people are going to stay on for the long term, for years, is really the dream come true of products to have. That's a fantastic piece that you want, because it really makes your effort, almost always anything that I've ever promoted, no matter how poorly it went, that I still made money in the long run because it was a recurring revenue for life. And even though it may not have lasted my whole life, it far exceeded over the time frame the amount of investment that was involved in time and work to make that happen. Okay? So that being said, you start to begin to understand that after several months of perfecting your process of running these softwares effectively and getting good success rates and really being able to understand the details and all the messaging that's going on in the process, that you start to look at, well, what can I do to get a little even better success? And you experiment with your messaging, and you see if your click-through rates go up. And there's going to be other factors too, because sometimes you say, oh, I did so much better when I also targeted this particular type of genre or website or platform, like whether it's a Shopify or a Wix, or could be anything, really. Could be SaaS, software as a service. And of course, this is a great tool for these type of sites, because a lot of companies, when they're new, and especially these SaaS, software as a service sites, they're new, they don't have a lot of external content that's available. All the real meat and potatoes is on the inside, and as a result, getting traction for SEO and all of that, they have to really go full on out. And you need to get into blogging, you got to have videos on YouTube, you got to get a good social media campaign going, and advertising generally. So what could be better than rolling the products out like that with GSA website contact? Because you start to think like more holistically. So now if I got a new client and I say, you're not really ready for SEO, but you're going to have it, there's the lead out approach with GSA website contact. And then for me, in my business model, things progress over time in another direction. And that's, of course, assuming that they're a startup, okay? Now, the other end, but you start to see is that even from an affiliate marketing standpoint, when you start to realize, gee, I really could perfect this process even better if I had my own landing pages on my own website and had my own funnel pages and was leading them into that, because then I could really even perfect the process for this particular product even better. And a lot of really good affiliate programs actually provide or have sort of the content of the best approaches already pre-made, and you just really have to take what they provide and use it on your website, or or adapt it into your own thing. And this now gives you even greater control. Like I forget off the top of my head, but in this video I'll probably cut into it where I'll show the stats from Autoblogging Pro, but the Bitly stats, how many people that have actually driven to this website, which is relatively new and has no real SEO traction. And that is really what's impressive. And you start going, gee, I sent 10, 12,000 people in a few weeks to this site. That's a lot. How do I turn that into more sales? And of course, a really good sales and marketing person who is going to understand that, yeah, if I control the whole funnel process. And then once you start down that road where you're providing the landing pages for what you're promoting, you begin to realize, wow, I really was able to make this even better. But now that I got my own website and pages, I also need to promote that from an SEO standpoint. And I can have blogging material about that and use ChatGPT to help myself, and I make a video. And the three big things you need. It's these softwares, you need a website, and you need some YouTube. Those are my three things that kind of make things go together with blogs, blogs, YouTube, blog, website, kind of interchangeable. But the YouTube aspect and these software, and when you have that triumvirate with the backlinking, you kind of, you really see how all of this starts to come together, because you begin to move beyond the straight affiliate thing. And what also happens is other opportunities open up. And that's just the nature of things. You start with one thing and you lead into another. You discover something better, or how you realize, oh, I could do really good with something. You'll just have these epiphanies, and it'll be based on the previous experience of other projects that you engaged. So now thinking about all of that, changes the dynamic of your thinking about how you're going to be evolving mentally in your approach. Because, hey, $100 a day, $1,000 a day, $5,000 a month, all that crazy shit. Well, the only way that kind of crazy shit happens is when you really have a perfected process of running your software effectively, and you don't really have to, you've got the experience that you're no longer having to put a lot of brain work into things, especially even when you have problems. You really know what's going on and how to kind of weather the storm and get past that, so that you can focus on the actual perfection of the sale and try to analyze what's going on. What is that user thinking and experiencing, and leading them into your own thing or funnel. And of course, more and more you begin to realize, oh man, when I got my own product and services, and how I really can perfect all of that. And of course, now I'm not working for a percentage of the sale, even if it's recurring revenue for life. I'm working for all of the sale, and because it's mine. And when you cross that threshold, combined with all of these other things, that's when you're going to really make big money. Like someone asked me in the group, came in, said, I'm new to all this, but I want to make $10,000 a month and have a good life. Well, everyone, right? But the path to getting there is going to start, if you're going down the GSA road with website contact, that's where the path is going to start. That's where you're going to get your learning and make all your mistakes with somebody else's stuff that doesn't, impact you directly with anything SEO. And gradually, as you master more and more pieces, you begin to realize, wow, how I really can turn these softwares and systems and approaches into something that really makes sales. But you have to think, more than just I'm slapping a message in and a link. You have to start to think about, how can I go beyond that at some point? That's the starting point. And in the beginning, the first few months, for a lot of you, that's what you're going to do. But when you really find that one thing, you start to have success and recognize, oh man, these other guys do even better, and they got these nice landing pages, and look how they do this. You're going to go, that's what I got to do. Understand? Now, another thing that is very important with all of this type of work is patience. And I can't stress that enough. No matter what you're doing, whether it's SEO, backlinking, you're creating content, you're anxious, a lot of people, they're telling me, oh, my client, man, they're chomping at the bit. They want backlinks. Look, backlinks is not a magic bullet if you don't have the right stuff in place. It's like trying to build a superstructure on the ground that cannot support it and will ultimately just collapse when you start to really put the brick and mortar in place. Understand? You cannot push a brand new website just by thinking you're going to jam out a bunch of backlinks. The quantities have no value without quality, and that it has a natural growth in the ecosystem, that it appears natural in the sense that it makes sense against even the competitors. So even if you are going fast, it's because, yes, it seems like that entire ecosystem is swift moving. So all of that being said, you start to realize that all of these softwares play a role in the big picture. Because I guarantee you, there's nobody that watches this channel going to use just one of these softwares and a capture breaker. It's not happening. If you're using GSA Website Contact and XEvil, you're going to, at some point, start using Scrapebox. At the very least, you need it just to help you manage your lists. Because when you're doing things long enough, and you're going to, because you're going to need a few months, and your first real year is going to be learning. Understand, these softwares, they are relatively easy to get into and get started, but to really master them takes time. You can't think like, even if you got a job or you went out and got a certification to do a job, that you think you're going to just, oh yeah, you're going to learn it, you're going to be a man. Even if you did a course and got certified and even got hired, do you think that you are a master at that job? Of course not. And that is really part of this process. You're going to master that. And that's what you want. That's where the fun in this is mastering that software. And, it is a lot of fun getting into and learning all the ins and outs of defined settings and how, you start thinking about things like, oh yeah, I can change the email, or I'm promoting my own products. So I don't want to be so anonymous. I'm going to use an email from my own website, like a catch-all, and have a little randomization in there, like I pointed out in one of my videos. But the point is, you start to grow into this understanding that you have to do, to get the bigger monies, you're going to have a more holistic approach at the end of the day. The biggest money things that are going to be bringing the biggest yields with, say, a GSA Website Contact is going to be ultimately more B2B things, a product that's much more direct to the source, that this is something that fits this industry, genre, or business model type. It might be something as general as restaurants, but that's everybody. It may be only certain types of companies can use certain things that you're promoting. But in that process, you start to realize, how to find more ways, how to even find more companies, and what are the best approaches to maximize the results. You learn all this. That's where you got to spend time. You're gonna have to always do your homework and get on YouTube and do some power watching, get through the videos, watch the things that have value to you, do a little fast forwarding, and move on. But use YouTube as the platform also for learning a lot of things. You're going to really get a lot of knowledge there. Whether you're also trying to do a YouTube channel, whatever it is, you got to get a little bit of knowledge of everything. And gradually, not only you're getting a little bit of everything, but one thing at a time, you move on to each thing. But I can't stress, you need to be patient. You need your clients to be patient. Don't overreact when you're watching, looking at your statistics with SEMrush and Ahrefs. Don't let every little change be something that, look what happened to me, but rather look at it as it is as a whole and how you're going to fit into that. Another thing, like I've had people ask me, like very specific questions in there, and don't get me wrong, these are good questions because I realize, they are thinking deep. Like, I'm trying to get a keyword with a certain difficulty ranking, and this was in the context of a backlinking campaign. But what I said is, don't worry about what the difficulty level is, because the difficulty level is really just a sort of a gauge. Because the difficulty level is simply sort of a gauge of the level of competition. But we don't want to think about that. We're just thinking about building our own ranking to get into that ecosystem. And that's all we really have to focus on, because of course it's difficult. If it wasn't difficult, there wouldn't be any value there. And so the objective of what we're doing is putting ourselves where it, just because something says difficult, I think that term is a little misleading. It just means there's more competition. So that's what's going to make it more difficult. But if your content is good and you've got the right SEO, sort of placement, as I outlined in the previous video, you got to have your internal magic. You're working with the ranking factors of new and the latest and the greatest, because Google's a fat cat for new content and is going to eat that up. And now you're providing that backlinking of solid quality material. And I can't stress that enough either, that there are no shortcuts, that you want the quality of the post, of what you backlink, to be super as you can possibly make it. Because the truth is, the less it's quality, the less, doesn't matter how much keyword, anchor text, etc., the lesser quality or volume of content, if you couldn't add video or you couldn't put images in it, and really get and have enough to really get a good sufficient, variety too of all of what's being posted, the spin tax, and that constant rotation of the material and potential quantities of articles that may go into a campaign. But all that being said, if it's not, it's got to be quality at every point, and taking the time to do it right and just being patient, it always pays off. And you're able to pull all these things together. But if you try to feel like, I'm gonna, you're gonna get to a place, with a lot of things where you have a lot of internet coverage and you're getting a lot of traffic from SEO and you got a lot of content and your traffic is varying and you get more searches of this at sometimes, and things kind of go up and down. And then of course, boom, like September 13th, some people got hit with the Google, relevant content update, but almost none of my clients was affected. Only one of my backlinking clients told me he took a 25% hit. I'm going to be doing a little more analysis on him this week. But most of them, I told them, hey, don't worry. You're going to be coming right back up, because the approach of the backlinking process and how, I employ that, and for my clients, that these have a relatively short-term effect, because at the end, and in the end of the day, Google's always going to fall back, to that same algorithm, because everything gets old already. It's rolled, it's old, it's moving faster. It's got to go to the next thing. So you just have to keep your flow going. And so when you've got your flow going and you're creating your content, you just and you're building, and you're going to find yourself in a place where you're constantly running backlinking campaigns. You always got a money robot going on some things over here and a page over there, and a campaign with your X ranker, understanding you're mixing it up a little bit. Maybe you're running campaigns that are just like promoting your videos too. So you start to pull it all together, in that regard. And now you realize that all these backlinking softwares, they have a tremendous value. GSA website contact, super value there. It's really the lead in, the real thing you want to get into making money. That's the thing you really want to start, and learning that will help you be better at some of the other products, which of course, there's two. Well, let's talk about GSA search engine ranker. That's the big one, right? But this is the mistake that I'm hearing constantly, even from new people in the group. And this is why I tell you guys, when you create a project and on the left-hand side panel, you have all those platforms, you got to uncheck all of that. You think you're going to go in there like an animal and run all of these things? I don't know anybody that ever did that didn't have a bad outcome in the end from SEO and everything tanking, because it's just going to go up in an extremely unnatural way, and Google's going to pick it all up. It doesn't post all those things from those platforms, but it is aware of all of the social signals and communications, and just like the human body has a network, how information travels. You drop something on your toe, and that it hurts, and you feel the whole pain, your whole body, right? That wave of communication, and Google is not showing it in its search results, but it feels the pain in its toe that you caused it when you thought you were going to spam all these resources. Understand that GSA Search Engine Ranker is a tool that you have to start with super conservatively. Like I pointed out in the last video, you could, do something like the SER engines. And somebody said to me that he tried it and it wreaked havoc. I don't know what he's talking about, but you're not supposed to run anything else but that when you're running it, because it will wreak havoc. And that's the point. When you're doing a list or you're running another platform that integrates on your left-hand side panel, make sure you read their instructions carefully, because they're going to tell you, make sure you turn other things off. Don't try to, you don't realize your system is trying to scrape and do other things in the background, because, it's a complex product. And if you don't really, recognize something that you've got going on, you're just really going to get into a world of trouble. And that's why when you start with that product, again, that's a good one to mess around with affiliate things, with links that have nothing to do with you. You want to start working with articles, a Sears engine list, where they're just giving you like Web 2.0 blogs. And they've got a Web 2.0 blog, but there's a couple of sites now I've seen, like, I think one of the ones I buy a list for, they also have another add-on to add just the blogs. Those are, if you just do like those blogs, those little add-ons, those are good ones to do that give you like the same kind of results you would get like running a Ranker X or Money Robot, but you can get higher value ones sometimes. But you're not going to be doing all these other platforms. You're just going to, oh man, when I see that, it's, and I've seen these videos and guys are running and everything, oh, it looks fantastic. You got GSA and on the bottom everything, like banging away, and they got the indexer running and capture breaker and all that, and it's like bullets. It looks like, oh yeah, it's like a slot machine. It's ringing, but yeah, it's bullets. Bullets just putting bullets in themselves. And I've seen people in the past doing videos going, oh, look at all these links I posted overnight, and a couple days later they got a video, oh, Google destroyed me. I was up with all this stuff and now I'm down. Of course, because Google isn't stupid. Nobody just gets 100,000 links overnight. GSA is a tool you want to work one platform at a time and do it very controlled. And like I told people, set the value for the platforms, the PR value. Play it safe. Say 5 and above, from 0 to 10. That'll keep you out of the danger zone. And of course, that's like super critical if you're doing your own scraping. But go slow with these things. Patience. Listen, once you have mastered those aspects of GSA in one platform at a time and you're really learning the minutia, that's when you get to a place when, again, when your websites, your content, your blogs and such are so much, and your backlinking campaigns, and you've got a flow that literally you are just producing and backlinking on a daily basis. That's when GSA, you could be saying, yeah, I'm going to be running some things with this over this platform, and I'm also going to do some other things with platforms. And you're really figuring out how to use some of those platforms that they provide to integrate with your other social media stuff and trigger those social media signals. So, there's a lot of things there. And the truth is, when you're using your social media, you really almost just need to be like tweeting your blogs and things like that, and keeping that, keeping those signals so that when Google is detecting that, yeah, there's a lot of backlinks, that the content seems to be similar and fits the ecosystem of how people backlink to each other, and the keywords and anchor text build their way up to this site. It just all makes sense. And and I'm also detecting Twitter posts about this, and et cetera, and there's something on YouTube. It's going to pick up all of that, and so it seems natural. But if you don't have all that stuff going on, all of a sudden you got 100,000 backlinks from a couple of sources that it doesn't make sense. You're not going to have 100,000 things on all these things from GSA search engine ranker, and not have massive YouTube and website traffic and and the whole picture around it together. It's like first you start with one instrument, then there's two of you, and then you build up to your small band, then it becomes an orchestra, and gradually you want to turn it into a symphony. And when you reach the point that everything is a symphony, well, that's what takes you to the dream. That's that $10,000 a day, and the big money stories that people have, because now you've got this huge thing that you're gradually inflating over time, and you can bring all of these tools to bear in some fashion or another. And you're not going to always be running everything all the time, but you're going to be running a lot. I've got things, I got a client that's so huge, there's rarely a day I'm not running a backlinking campaign on, one aspect or another of their website, because there's too many different topics to cover and of keyword ranges. So I gotta, get in there and run. Some of the campaigns are a little broader and some are a little more narrow, and sometimes it's just based on that intuitive analysis when I'm in looking at the analytics and the keywords and what's going up and down, and and I'll see trends because I'll filter certain search phrases, and I'll realize, oh gee, all these certain type of technology related phrases, there's certain groups, they tend to be falling, and that's okay, because it doesn't matter. And sometimes it doesn't matter because I don't have to make an adjustment. Generally, I'm in a place now where I'm like, doesn't matter, because I already got the next one running, and results should be starting to kick in for that, and it'll gradually kind of come back up. And that's kind of the whole object of the game with backlinking, is that you're trying to keep a flow of things that are maintaining you in this ecosystem of wanting to see that there's always new stuff going on, new backlinking, new content, and you want to get into that flow of that. And that takes time. You can't go from 0 to 60, but you can, patiently build everything up. Be patient. Do the ground, the legwork, lay the groundwork, and gradually start to realize where there's opportunities. You're going to go out there and you're going to do some YouTubing, and someone's going to show you something, and you're going to realize, oh wow, and sometimes somebody's showing some genuine results, or you're in a community or a group, and the guys say, yeah, I use this funnel system, and I'm like, this is how I have my own kind of promotion. They may not tell you everything, but they tell you, my return rate on, like, hey, 1 in 4 visitors makes a purchase, kind of thing. And you realize, oh man, I can hit that so good with my GSA website contact. See, those opportunities and those type of opportunities, you're not gonna see them if you don't start from the beginning and learn that experience of using GSA website contact in just a basic, affiliate approach, and then build on that over time and look at everything, analyze everything, think about everything. Like, when the person in my group said, yeah, I'm just doing a reply only, I realized instinctively that's not a good approach. Even if she got some kind of good result, there's nothing to gauge like having a link and taking them to a landing page, because you can at least, have first statistic that, out of every 4,000 sent, I get 200 people clicking on my link. And then, that's the first statistic. And then how many of those people are you going to get to give you your name and give them their name and their email address and a little extra information, or even lead them into a pitch? Now, in their particular case, they only need to get a little contact information so that they can send them a video. And they actually want to customize the video to the customer very quickly before they send it out. So they've got that little, step in the process. But that's really fine. But you need to be able to gauge, like, how many people can I even get interested enough to click and take a look? And so that's the point. Once you've done that, that's where you want to collect the email and address, because there's an opportunity there to gauge it. You say, gee, I got 200 people to look, but only 5 gave me their name and email. Why is that? What can I do different? And now you change something and you turn that 5 into 10, 15, 20. You find that maximum success rate, you understand, for that next point, and so on. And then how many of those can you then ultimately, after you send them a video and a follow-up and whatever your particular process is, close the deal, make the sale. Understand? And when you start to understand those types of opportunities that come up, now that person's on the right track because they're trying to do niche work, and that's where really the most biggest opportunities are going to come from. But you've got to have something to start tracking and glean data, and you really learn that over time there's a real science to it. But a lot of it is just being perceptive and really thinking about it, and not just going, I'm just going to throw a dart at the board and see if the person clicks the link. You got to really think about any little thing sometimes. You review that message that you send, and suddenly you go, oh, here's something I should have said right in here. Sometimes it's just even changing a word that makes a big difference. Or, I really need to make them realize they don't really need this. That's just an added bonus, or something along those lines. And those little changes, additions, you'd be surprised, they go a long way. And I find, I found through the whole process, even with Autoblogging Pro, that I gradually brought the success rate on click-throughs higher per campaign because I was modifying the messaging. And it wasn't huge modifications, but it was significant. And it mattered. It mattered enough that I was like, I really got to make them aware of some things here. So, you keep working it, smoothing it. That is what's going to take you to how you're going to make big money. And then there's all sorts of factors. The next thing is, how are you getting the websites? Where are you getting your list? Like, even for me, my backlinking service with SEO Depot, it's kind of a one-size-fits-all. That there's no website I can't pitch that to, that how important backlinking services are to their SEO. Understand? And so for me, using list was a viable option, because I figured, well, I'm sure there's going to be much better opportunities in certain segments, but for me at the time, it was a time versus, I had so much, you have so much work, and I already got a big operation, so it's not like I can just devote, I have to learn a little bit on the fly as I'm breaking into new things. So it was the same thing. I said, for me, this worked out fine, but gradually, over time, I gleaned tons of data on how to perfect my process. And now, realizing that I can no longer purchase third-party lists because 90% of that content of those websites that people are producing, I already have. So, and I've already sent to. And they're just reproducing duplicates. So realizing this as part of my, started to become apparent in my logistics and realizing that was affecting my success rates and significantly led me on the journey to say, now I have to make my own list. And I need lists that are good, lists that have the type of websites that are going to have a higher probability to respond. They're more competitive. They're SEO savvy. Understand? And are potentially, anything that's potentially better for an affiliate marketer is certainly going to be that much better for me. Understand? And so at each phase, analyzing each piece and looking for a way to perfect that process. So for someone like myself, obviously, and now I'm selling those lists, there's a lot more work involved than the average person is going to be able to do. But I've got 30 systems in here and always, expanding. But everyone starts and, at their own level and realizes, I'm only going to maybe have a 4 system setup or an 8 system setup at some point. And, for some people, that's all they're ever going to need, and they're going to be able to make really, really good money. And but mastering each piece, and starting that and learning your way through all these things, because there's really things to be mastered at every level. How you get your sites where you purchase them from versus and that's why now some of you guys I was talking about in the group, and it was based on people's feedback and from myself that I realized the kind of list that people need for affiliate marketing are different than people need for other types. So I'm doing a B2B subscription, and right now I'm building up industry and business specific categories, because there are people that a general list is not going to have, even if it's all Shopify or a certain type of platform where there's a higher probability of spending, that's not going to do them any good. They cater to certain business types only, and maybe also only regional. And because there are so many business types and so many different kind of categories, these databases of each specific type, they're only going to have 20,000 to maybe 100,000 maximum. And those lists will be maintained and updated periodically. So I'm still working the minutiae out, but the people that take that subscription will be able to come in and have access to the pool of all those databases and request the database, like, hey, I really need this industry segment. I have a list for them to pick off, and we just put it right in the queue. And within 72 hours at best, we have that list produced, ready to go for someone to lock and load and go after that. And it's not a problem because, it just goes into the pool for everybody else. So that's a different type of list subscription, and it's not really, it's not you're not, people who want to buy the global list for affiliate marketing, these two, they're going to be two different animals, and there will be crossover almost inevitably. And so, it's really a one or the other, and this one is not going to provide the millions on a monthly basis, but rather, tens of thousands and, potentially still $1 million a month, but, in specific segments, and not necessarily $1 million a month for everybody, because not everything's going to be useful for everyone. So even if I can produce, several million a month. And so that's a big project under construction right now, but that's going to be like a really super viable option for a lot of you guys, because I'm seeing already, you're also kind of like me in many ways, that, one size fits all is not the right thing. You need to target certain businesses, certain business segments. So that being said, getting back to logistics is something that you analyze at every point. The point of the sale, your list, the success of your campaign you're running, your send rates, how many people are clicking through, you're tracking your bit.ly or whatever you use for your tracking link. And then, now you've taken it to a point that you've evolved, that you've got a website, you've got a landing page, and maybe, maybe it's not a couple of pages, it's just one big long page where you take them down, and at the end, they shit or they get off the pot. And you take them into the thing, and you're able to map out a story and gauge where your success is. And with a little smart testing, realize, that's why people do A/B testing, where even on a single web page, you could say, when I get to this section, should I say this or should I say that? So they hand out half of each to the users randomly and look at which one gives them the best. And again, as you start to realize, this is how you're ultimately going to... not everybody's going to have a super complex thing like that. Sometimes it's just like, man, all I got to do is get them to my website. The website does it all, as it should, in terms of doing a sale. Then, that's the thing. And that's the end result, because in the end, the thing that's really going to make you rich is the skills that you built with affiliate marketing and those revenues that you picked up along the way from various products that you're going to get recurring revenue for life. And those things help pay for the new systems and extra licensing and the more proxies. And now you've evolved, you've got a VPS in your website or websites and landing pages. And now you're selling your own product, your own thing, your own service. Or maybe you're saying, man, and two, you're a developer and you're making your own SaaS. Hey, and your thing is marketable to almost anybody with a website. Well then, hey, you're a GSA website guy, understand. But gradually, you're going to want to bring all the products to bear, because you're going to want to be doing blogs and promoting your SEO and bada bing, bada boom, and hopefully you're doing YouTube videos, and you're growing that whole ecosystem of success. Now guys, can you make money doing this? Absolutely. Can you make big money? Absolutely. But if you think that, you're just going to get some product and put a link and run one copy and, that's the starting point of building, getting on the road. And look, I get it. I understand it's difficult for people. It takes money to make money, and everybody's, trying to do it on the smallest budget possible and hoping to get some sales, along the way. But if you can, and when you can, you need to really bite the bullet a little bit, in the sense that, look, when you think about doing this as a business, the investment for having, say, a small business, especially you could literally, run out of your home with a small office space, that potential, to have that, is there, that you're going to build up to that. But you're not going to just start and all of a sudden, hey, you're going to start making $100 a day, $1,000 a day. No, you need to get in here. You need to get GSA website contact. Get with a list, because you're learning, and start to also learn and think about, what am I going to really find the right kind of products? Because you're not going to get it on ClickBank or Digistore 24. Those things are not going to take you to the promised land. Okay, you want to go to the promised land, right? The land of milk and honey, right? Where there is no free rides. There are no free tickets. Like you're just going to do this and it's going to be turnkey and you're going to make money just like that. No, you're going to have to learn to master this software. And that's, not the biggest thing. But, once you start to realize that you've got something winning and you go, holy shit. And I'm good with this, and I can run like 100,000 a day on my system, no problem. Now I need to run 400,000. How am I going to do that? I'm going to have to get 4 systems. And when you run out, and that happens to people, they just suddenly go out and get on Amazon, order those new systems, and bada bing, bada boom, and literally 2-3 days, they went from running 1 GSA to running 4 GSA, right? But running 4 GSA you might have been good riding one horse, but now you got 4 of them and you're on a chariot. It's another animal, right? And now, running 4, you better be good. You want to run 4 copies because your mind needs to be so well wrapped around that software, how it's working, its processes, and everything's going on, because that's the only way you're going to be able to handle 4. You're running 4 and things start going wrong, you're going to be like, oh, what's going on? You're going to whack. Trust me. You think I get to running an office like this, like just overnight, or I can just drop 4 systems in? No. Everything I do requires time, even just to add a single new system, or if I move a laptop, it can take me days to get readjusted, because there's a reason, not only that I have a lot of systems for automation, but even have a lot of laptops for working, and that's so that I can keep my work segmented and know where everything is. I know what's on this system, that system, this system, that system, that system, this one. You understand? I know exactly where it is, so I, build up to it gradually. I can't just rearrange overnight. And so, by that same token, you can't think you're just suddenly gonna, put 4 systems in. You can't. If you're new to this, you're not running 4 GSA website contact. You're just not doing it. You have got to start with 1 first and learn and build your way up. And then, now when you can manage 4 systems, you get your time and you got your campaign set up, and now you got your sale and your landing pages and all of that going on, and it's your product. That is when you're making money. You understand? So the road to getting there and learning, and don't get me wrong, you can have some really big hits on affiliate marketing, but you need to go out there and find that product that's not, it's not on a blog either, like Digistore. If you do some searching, there's like a million articles about what's the top 20 or 50 things that offer affiliate marketing, and in the year 2023 or 2024, you got to get beyond that. You got to do some clever searching and get into specific product types and look at realize where's there something that's a real potential treasure for me that I'm going to be able to exploit. And oh, holy mackerel, this is a one-size-fits-all. Almost anybody with a website can use this. That's when you got a winner with that logistic. And other times you're going to go, oh, this is not something for everybody, but oh, there's so many site types that I can tap into. And at that point, you're going to be into the approach where you either have access to a service like mine where you can get databases in certain segments already made, or you're going to also be in the mode of augmenting that with your own scraping and doing a little scrape box, because one of the reasons purchasing list is such an important crutch to lean on is because what you're going to learn is it takes a lot also to do scraping successfully, and especially to get the sort of quantities you're going to need to be able to keep running. So in many cases, it's a good idea that, even if you can do some things on your own, that you're supplementing that with lists, so that, as long as it, it fits the logistics of what you're running and how many you're running, how many you're able to run in a day, and and how many systems you have, and how many you're able to, run across the board. So you want to grow. So yes, the money, the opportunities are here, and I get those questions. I want to make money, and how do I do it? And can this really work? Absolutely, but not just like often people present it, like you just get this software, and I even just got an email the other day about, people use this software, but the problem is they don't have a list. Well, the problem sometimes is they do have a list. And, understanding that and what you have to do to learn to take things to the next level is so critical. Because there is money to be made and the opportunities are here. But there's no turnkey solution. You got to master the software, how many proxies you're going to need, how fast you can run, etc., etc. And the next thing you know, that's when the real stepping stone process. But there's no like, hey guys, you want to hear easy street money? Buy my list. You'll make $1,000 a day. Sorry, that's not happening. You need to be smart. You need to be smart about what you're promoting. And yeah, you probably your first couple of projects, they're going to be mostly, for some people, just a lot of crap that you're testing and you're learning from, and you're learning to see, hey, how many click-throughs did I get for that? Then you go, oh, here's something I got. You see that once you've got a better quality, more appealing product, how you do a better approach, you start getting those rates up gradually and working on each set of numbers so it starts to, impact the next set of numbers, which ultimately impact the next set of numbers till they reach the final number, which is the sale, and how much those final numbers add up to, because that is what you really want. And what you're really doing is looking for the opportunity that once you find the winning formula, that you now are able to replicate those logistics and multiply it. But guys, you're not going to be able to run 4, 5, 6, 7. There are going to be things you're going to say, holy mackerel, all I need is enough systems. It's not easy to be able to, run, even me. When I'm running 7 GSA website contact, and I've got, 3 other types of software, one of each running behind me, and I'm scraping on 4 to 6 systems, Scrapebox, and I've got 6 money robots running, and you know what I mean? And then systems doing indexing, and it's kind of a wave. I'm rotating around. I may have 4 right now, and running money robot, and 2 indexing, and sort of rolling around through the systems, because a lot of the systems do multiple things. But I've developed my own flow within my infrastructure. Same thing happens with everybody. You start small. You start with 1 system, 2, 3. You'll build a 4 block, and the next thing you know, you are off and running. Because to me, that's the real key ingredient for your starting home business. That when you get it, that you got 4 little systems, a monitor, a keyboard, a mouse, decent internet connection, and software for every system, and not, you're going to be running everything all the time, every kind of software, but you're going to be running all 4 of those systems. One's going to be running this, and 2 are going to be running that, and another one's going to be doing something over here, and you're going to be sometimes running more of one or the other, but you're going to evolve your own thing, and then you hit in the apex, and you grow even more. And so you grow with the income that's coming in, because you're constantly having moments where you're going, oh, look at this. All I got to do is add another one, and I'm making more. And that's when you take that leap. So this is the path to getting there, and getting to some, really being able to make a good income, have a good life, do some interesting work, and not really be dependent on anybody else. Because believe me, even if you think you have nothing of value that you can actually market or sell, you will find on the path to this that you are mistaken. That there are things that you can market and make and sell, and they'll be your own. I guarantee it. But getting to that frame of mind and understanding, because as you start to learn all these things, you're going to realize, oh yeah, there's all these other things that I can buy into on the outside and sell as my own. Trust me. But first, you got to build from the ground up, and the best place to start with that is affiliate marketing, because you'll make money, but more importantly, you'll learn, and your whole focus will be on that one piece of it, and then gradually you will grow it and focus on the other pieces, and expand onto better, higher quality, big revenue turnover items. That's another thing. And that's something that I really wanted to talk about more in this video, is about big ticket items. Big ticket items that can actually work. But guys, you're not going to be selling dye products through contact forms. You're not going to be selling, Bitcoin or any of that crap. It's got to be something that either you're targeting their business specifically to your specific product, or it's sort of a one-size-fits-all. Anybody with a website has at least the potential to have some interest in it. Okay? That's it for this video, guys. We're going to get back to tutorials right after this. I hope you really enjoyed this talk, but I think it was really important, and a lot of this stuff really came out of just a lot of the conversations in the last week or two through the Discord group. I encourage all of you to come and join the Discord group, because here at Dark Marketing, the training is free. And I hope you guys like this video and follow us. I'm going to have some more great videos here. I really got a lot on the drawing board, but I'm also hoping to drop in a lot more speaking videos where I can really just kind of talk about some of these things in the abstract. So when we get back to, really talking about the software, things that I've talked about here in this video are going to be suddenly invaluable as we go back into working on the physical approaches of the things that we do with the softwares and the setups. Guys, thanks again for watching, and have a great day.